The Bengals take their fourth shot at getting win number 1 in 2024. Mike Petraglia inside Bank of America Stadium in downtown Charlotte. Today, the Bengals 0-3 take on the 1-2 Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, behind Andy Dalton, came through with their first victory of the year last week, beating the Las Vegas Raiders on the road. Andy Dalton was spectacular, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 315 yards passing on 26 of 39 passing on the day. Andy Dalton will be one of, obviously, the main storylines here this afternoon going up against his former team. Dalton is 2-1 lifetime against the Bengals, having beaten the Bengals when he was with the Dallas Cowboys in 2020 and with the Chicago Bears in 2021. Bengals got the best of him when he was in New Orleans back in 2022. So the Andy Dalton storyline, everybody knows about that. How about Nick Scott, that former Bengal? He is a starting free safety for the Panthers. Can the Bengals take advantage of Nick Scott and the Carolina secondary today? Bengals offense certainly wasn't the problem on Monday night in the 38-33 loss to the Washington Commanders. Joe Burrow was exceptional. He threw for over 300 yards, 324 yards to be exact, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 2 of those touchdowns, of course, came on bombs to Jamar Chase, one of 41 yards in the first quarter. Later in the second half, it was a 31-yarder down the right sideline. With T. Higgins back in the lineup and looking closer and closer to full strength, that should really help Jamar Chase get some one-on-ones. Will Jamar Chase get a couple of opportunities in the red zone? Of course, last week, Bengals had to settle for a couple of field goals in the red zone, and they all pointed to that after the game as a reason why they lost to the Commanders. They couldn't convert those field goal opportunities into touchdowns. Today, they'd like to change that, but Jamar Chase on Wednesday joked about how if he doesn't get doubled like Megatron in the red zone, something the Dallas Cowboys and a lot of the coaching staff that comes from that family tree down in Dallas likes to do. If he can avoid those Megatron doubles in the red zone, maybe he can help Joe Burrow find the end zone instead of settle for field goals. The weather here in Charlotte could not be better. Hurricane Helene has moved through. The people down here in the southeast certainly deserve a day like today. 79 degrees, sunshine, no chance of precipitation in the forecast. The wind should not be a factor, between 4 and 10 miles an hour. Again, it'll be a hot day here on the field turf inside Bank of America Stadium, so players will have to stay hydrated on this 29th day of September, but expect excellent weather here, and that could bode very well for both offenses in this game. Injuries, keep an eye on Sam Hubbard. He had his snaps limited in the fourth quarter of Monday night's loss to Washington. Cedric Johnson, the rookie out of Ole Miss, that defensive end, could come in and spell some depth for Sam Hubbard in this game. Will he even possibly start in this game? We'll have to wait and see when the lineups, when the defense takes the field, I should say, for the first time in this game against Andy Dalton. But Sam Hubbard is battling through his hamstring injury, and certainly the Bengals want him on the field, but not if he's a detriment to the defense. So that is something Lou Anarumo, Zach Taylor, and company will have to keep a very close eye on this afternoon. In terms of other players along the defensive line, where the Bengals have been really ravaged so far here early in 2024, B.J. Hill not expected to play. Of course, Sheldon Rankins, he is out for yet another week. He's missing his second straight game. Both Hill and Rankins suffered hamstring injuries in that loss to Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Bengals want to make sure they don't rush either of those players back and lose them for the long term. So a lot to keep an eye on here this afternoon inside Bank of America Stadium. You hate to say it's do or die, but really the Bengals, if they don't get this win and they fall to 0-4, things will be very, very bleak indeed for the rest of the 2024 season. So the path to recovery starts this afternoon in Charlotte. Can the Bengals execute enough? Can their defense get off the field on third down? They were just able to get off the field, not at all on Monday night as the Washington Commanders converted on all 7 scoring drives when they had the ball on Monday night. So that is something else to keep an eye on this afternoon. We'll have you covered, of course, after the game. Be sure to tune in to youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. We'll have the Jungle Roar Skinny Bengals post-game pod to wrap up and analyze all of the details of today's game here in Charlotte. Be sure to follow me on the X @Trags, TRAGS. And, of course, as always, be sure to follow my online content at clnscincy.com. Inside Bank of America Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.